Hey there, thanks for showing up to this free training. The first step is often the hardest, so give yourself a pat on the back for showing up. My name is Chad Pierce, and I'm an ADHD and self confidence coach. I'm also the creator of the ADHD Superpower Mastery Program. In my program, I work with you to help you take control of that ADHD chaos, overcome people pleasing, and gain unshakable self confidence. And we do this all one step at a time. Now, do you ever feel like your feelings take over and just kind of ruins your day? Maybe you just get angry, you feel very sad, or feel so frustrated you just stop trying. For me, dealing with those strong feelings was actually one of the hardest parts of living with ADHD. There were times when I would just react quickly to a real small problem, like getting upset with someone I cared about, only to feel sorry later. And that feeling of sorry, it would just actually bother me and make me feel like I just couldn't trust myself. But here's the point. If you have gone through this, it's not your fault. Emotional dysregulation doesn't mean that you're too weak or too sensitive. It's actually just a part of ADHD. And once you learn to understand how it works, you can actually begin managing it. And in this training, we're going to explore what emotional dysregulation is, why ADHD makes it hard, and most importantly, what you can do to regain control. Because you can't always stop the emotions from actually happening. They're just part of us being a human. But you can learn how to react to them in a way that's going to build your confidence and then relationships also, instead of actually hurting them. So if you're ready to stop feeling like a passenger on this emotional roller coaster and start grabbing a hold of the wheel, then let's get started. Now, first off, let's talk about what emotional dysregulation actually is. So, at its core, emotional dysregulation is the struggle to manage those intense emotions that we have. So, it might mean that you're feeling overwhelmed by frustration, sadness, anger. It can even actually be excitement. You see, most people have a brain that works like a brake system, where if the emotions become like too strong, it slows down. But in ADHD, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that's regulating the emotions, it doesn't always work too well. So really, it's like driving a car without brakes. The emotions keep building and building until they're just kind of completely out of control. Now, have you ever been stuck in traffic and you start to feel really frustrated? For most people, that frustration goes away pretty fast. But for someone with ADHD, it can actually feel like that frustration takes over our whole day. It's not just about the traffic anymore. It's about everything that seems wrong in your life, right? Strong emotions can manifest in many ways. And then you can like snap at a loved one, cry over something minimal, or just avoid talks because you're scared of how you'll respond. And the worst part is those strong feelings can seem like they're in charge of you and not the other way around. So it might even spill into your relationships, work, or the way that you view yourself. And if someone consistently feels like they're just reacting instead of responding, that easily lends itself to a number of negative self feelings that you start to have. But here's the good news. It's not about you being bad at handling emotions. It's rather related to how your brain works and how you learn the ways to actually help it. Now that we know what emotional dysregulation is, let's talk about the cycle that many of us with ADHD get caught up in. So it goes like this. First, something sets you off. Could be a comment from someone, a problem at work, or even something small like a messy house. And that trigger causes this real strong emotional reaction. And you might feel anger, frustration, sadness, or anxiety. So you get triggered. The emotion is overwhelmingly intense and feels strong, right? So you react without much consideration. Maybe you lash out in anger, shut down, or avoid it entirely. In that moment, such reactions are the only apparent choice in your mind. Then that regret follows. You reflect on how you've reacted, you feel guilty, and you may ask yourself, why did I do this, right? Why can't I handle things like others do? And that guilt, it adds to your self-doubt, makes it even harder to trust yourself the next time the emotional situation occurs. I call this the emotional dysregulation cycle. You see, you have a trigger, then you have a strong feeling, you act without thinking, you feel sorry, you feel bad, and then you just repeat and do it again. The more you find yourself caught in this cycle, the harder it can be to get out. It can cost you relationships, lower your confidence, and make you feel like you're always tiptoeing around your feelings. But here's the thing. Once you see the cycle, that's when you can begin to actually break it. So it's not about stopping your feelings from happening. It's absolutely impossible to do. It's about learning how to stop, think, and respond in a way that's going to match with who you truly are. All right, so now let's get to the fun part and what you've been waiting for. How do you regain control when your feelings are too strong? I'm going to share 6 strategies that have really helped me and the people that I've coached. All right, the first strategy is stop before you act. One of the most simple but powerful tools is actually the 5 second rule. When you feel an emotion arise, count to five before answering. Those 5 seconds may not seem like a lot, but they give you just enough time for your brain to kind of slow down, and it changes you from reactive mode to respond mode. Now, for instance, when you hear something that angers you, you must not react to it immediately. You should stop, breathe deeply, and then count up to five. This brief moment can save you from uttering or doing something that you're actually going to regret later. Now, in our second strategy, we want to identify the emotion. So, another powerful technique is naming the emotion you're feeling. I like to say, name it to tame it. So, when you say, I'm feeling frustrated or I'm feeling anxious, it turns on the logical part of your brain and then helps you take control. So, try this now. Think about a strong emotion that you felt recently. Write it down or say it out loud. Just naming it can actually make it feel a lot less scary. Now, strategy number 3 is about reframing your perspective. So, reframing is changing how you look at it. So, instead of saying that something is terrible, I want you to say, this is challenging and I can handle it. So, for example, if you're stuck in traffic, instead of getting upset, think of it as a chance to listen to your favorite podcast or music. We know it may not change the traffic, but it's going to change how you actually feel about it. Strategy number 4 is one of my favorites, and it's move to feel better. We know that physical activities is one of the best ways for you to burn off that excess emotional energy ADHD gives us. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, I want you to get up and move. Take a 5-minute walk, do some jumping jacks, or even just stretch. You see, movement helps your brain release that built-up tension and can quickly shift your emotional state. Strategy number 5 is about practicing self-compassion because we're often just way too hard on ourselves. So when you've messed up or you do something without thinking, what I want you to do is I want you to speak to yourself as you would a friend. So instead of saying why did I mess this up again? I want you to say, it's okay, and I'm learning, and I'll just do better next time. Self-compassion is not about making excuses. It's actually about giving yourself an opportunity to learn and to improve. And the 6th strategy is about grounding techniques. So grounding techniques can help you stay calm and then focused during all those ups and downs that ADHD gives us. So one of my personal favorite techniques is the calm box breathing. I want you to breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 counts, and then wait 4 counts, and repeat this 3 or 4 times. Another helpful tool is the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. So you name 5 things that you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. You see, these techniques can help you focus on the present moment, helping you take back control. Managing emotions is one of the biggest challenges for adults with ADHD, but it's not impossible. You are in control. With the right tools and strategies, you can learn to stop, think, and react to the feelings in a way that matches who you truly are. You have to remember, you're not broken, and these feelings are not the enemy. They're just merely signals. And when you learn to work with them instead of fighting them, you see, that's when a whole different level of confidence and control is going to be unlocked. Thank you for going through this training, and don't forget to download the PDFs there. Now, if you're ready to move on and get off this emotional roller coaster that ADHD has you on, let's talk. Book a free discovery call today, and let's work together to help you control your feelings and succeed. I want to hear your story, and I want to help you build the life you deserve. But I need you to book your call now as my calendar fills up quickly. Let's get you started on unlocking your hidden ADHD superpowers and have you giving the world the best version of you every single day. So book the call now. You can choose to remain the present you, or you can choose to start working on the future you. So book the call to start creating the life you dream about. I look forward to speaking with you really soon.